Square 1 Razzle Dazzle begins with the chevron stitch. This creates a zigzag edge to the knitting, and it's created by pairing up increases with decreases across a right side row. I've already completed rows 1 to 4 using royal yarn, so I'm about to begin row 5 where vintage pink is introduced into the work. So I'm going to begin by demonstrating how I join in a new yarn at the beginning of a row. Put your needle into the first stitch ready to knit it. Take the new yarn, I'm just holding it under my thumb there to keep it steady. As I knit that first stitch, I'm just then going to rest the right hand needle into the next stitch while I pause and secure these two ends together. That's the new end, the end of the new yarn, the vintage pink, and I'm going to simply knot it once to the royal yarn which I've left joined to the work there. That simple knot will just secure that edge stitch, and it will make sure that it doesn't slip off the needle while you're working the next row. The instruction on the next right side row, which is a repeat of row 2 of the pattern instructions, but this time for row 5 using vintage pink. After knit 1, I increase knitwise into the next stitch. To increase knitwise, put your right hand needle into the next stitch on the left hand needle. Knit the stitch, but before releasing it off the needle, you knit into the back of that same stitch so that you create 2 stitches out of 1. You're then beginning the bracketed information, which begins with knit 5, SKPO, which is slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, so that's slip 1 purlwise, knit 1 through the back of the loop, and then pass the slip stitch over. The next instruction is to knit 2 stitches together, so I'm putting my right hand needle through the next 2 stitches on the left hand needle and simply knitting them together. So that's my pair of decreases. Then I'm going to knit 5, and then it's my pair of increases, and I'm instructed to increase knitwise into each of the next 2 stitches. So into the stitch and straight into the back of it. That's 1 increase. And then repeat that again for the second increase. And that's the pair of increases completed. One final increase, just 1 increase this time, not a pair of increases. Finishing that row with knit 2. Now notice how the row began with 1 increase at this end and it finishes with 1 increase at this end, but there are paired increases and decreases across the rest of that row. Notice also how we began with knit 1 but we end with knit 2. That is correct, and worked in that way the stitches will look symmetrical from one end to the other. the next row, which is a wrong side row. Incidentally, all right side rows in this chevron part of the square, right side rows are even numbered, and all the wrong side rows are odd numbered rows. So I'm now at the end of this row with just one stitch to complete. But before I do that, I'm going to carry my royal yarn up the work as follows. So it's a very basic carry up the side of the work by just wrapping the royal yarn over the top of the vintage pink yarn before I work that last stitch. And you will see that by doing that, it just carries the royal yarn up the side of the work at the back of the work there. I will do that each time I begin a new row and I'm carrying an unused colour up the side edge. Only cut off yarns when instructed to do so in the pattern. This will save you multiple loose ends that you don't need and you don't want in your work. And that's row 5 of the pattern, which is a repeat of row 2. That's row 5 completed. And then you simply follow the pattern instructions, working all right side rows in the chevron pattern and changing colour between royal and vintage pink when instructed.